Alexis Castle once said, "There is a universal truth we all have to face whether we want to or not. Everything eventually has to end." As much as I look forward to this day, I dislike endings. There is always the last day of summer, final chapter of a book, season, or even parting ways with a friend. Here we are today at the end, but what a ride. I remember when I was trying to learn English at the age of 3, I had come home one day and told my parents, "Mom, Dad, I know English now." And the first words that came rushing out of my mouth were, "A hink, a hink." I was so happy I had finally learned the phrase, but little did I know that it wasn't English at all. Alexis Castle also said, "Life is like a journey on a train with stations, with changes of routes, and with accidents. At birth, we boarded the train and met our parents, and we believe they will always travel by our side." This is true. My parents have been there for me the whole time. One of the best memories I have with my parents is when I was turning 15. They had organized a quinceañera for me. I can clearly relive the process of getting ready with them. Being able to spend the whole day with them by my side will be something I will always cherish. Not only my parents, but others have ridden the train ride with me. In ninth grade, high school had took a trip to Glenrose to go see the Promise play. We got to Glenrose, got in the pool with the girls, and had a good time. I remember staying in a room with Leslie, Brianna, and Miss Carrie, and that night was so much fun. Over time, I started to get closer to the people in my class. One of the best memories we have together is when we went to New York in 10th grade. All of the girls stayed together in a room, day and night. We would go every morning to the Fonda Fair to pass out tracts and invite people to hear the Word of God. The last 2 days, we got the chance to go to New York City. We went to Times Square and ate pizza, went to the M&M store, took the subway even though we had no idea where we were, and went to the 9/11 museum. The best thing about this trip was that above all, we got to spend time together and learn a little more about each other, and this is a bond that will last. Then came San Antonio in 11th grade. We got on the rides at Six Flags and went to the Riverwalk. Memories like these are the type you never want to let go of. Castle continued her metaphor by saying, "This train ride will be full of joy and sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes, and farewells." So we must live in the best way possible, because when the time comes for us to step down, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life. My journey has been such an experience. If I was given the option to go back and relive those memories, I would do it all again in a heartbeat. These are the memories I always want to keep with me. The kind where you not only go out and have fun, but the kind where you get to enjoy the company of those around you. As a group, we indeed started from the very bottom. Think about how far we've come individually and as a class. Looking back to the beginning of freshman year, it seems like it was just yesterday. Life is like a journey where one will always encounter bumps on the road. Sometimes we might go through trials, and even though we may not like them, we still have to continue. Growing up, it was difficult for me to be in a good school. I had been in public school for most of my life, but it was not until one day when my mom decided to put me in a Christian school that everything changed. Even though at first I disliked Shady Acres, I realized that it brought so much more than just a school. It was not just a place where you go and learn, it was more of a home in Christ. A home where if you were having problems in your actual household, you could go and get on your knees after preaching without anyone wondering what you were doing. I thank Brother Nathan and Miss Carrie for always pushing me when in times of struggle, the times I would often procrastinate and leave things till the very last minute. Thank you for pushing me and encouraging me to keep moving forward. Thank you, Miss Marsha, for being my teacher and always making me look up to you as a virtuous woman. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being there for me on those late nights where I had questions that needed to be answered, for the talks that needed wisdom, and for the guidance that has brought me here today. Well, class, we made it. We're finally graduating. My class has grown both physically and mentally. I am so thankful to have the class that I had, for people that I got to experience so many amazing things with. We have each been able to see a little bit more of a much better version that is still yet to come in each one of us. Success consists of having a good relationship with all the passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. I hope we all get to accomplish the things we propose ourselves to do. I wish you all the best, praying you all succeed in whichever path the Lord guides you on to. God bless.
I want to thank all my friends and family for coming to support me on this unforgettable day. Graduation is one of the essential parts of our adolescence because it feels like the empty chapter in our book of life. This evening is not just about graduation. It's about our past achievements and celebrating our accomplishments. Looking back in the past to write this paper, I remember all the times when things started challenging and how I wanted to give up. I did not quit because I have the people in my life to motivate me to go forward. Albert Einstein once said, never give up on what you really want to do. The people with big dreams is more powerful within the one with all the facts. Having friends and family by my side helped a lot throughout the year and shaped me into the person I am today. I have many memories of our school, and one of my favorite memories was last year's spring formal, when the school rented out a limo for the night, and we were going rides with all our friends. That night created memories as we released lanterns into the sky. Another memory I have with my classmates was when we went to New York, jumped off a bridge, and had the time of our life. A memory that will forever be in my mind was when we were in Spanish class, and I was asked how to say a word, and without thinking, I said tortilla instead of tortilla. My recent favorite memory was on our recent mission trip, when we helped Brother Brandon with putting bags on door handles. The other thing I loved from that trip was making new friends, and when Brother Brandon and Miss April took us all to the beach to a cookout. I have a few people to thank in my life who have had a significant impact on it. First, I want to thank my mom, dad, and grandparents for always encouraging me through every moment of my life. To my mom especially, because she always put our experience and happiness above hers. Thank you to my sisters for being there, and even though you love to irritate me, I love you. Thank you, Miss Barbara, for being there for me and helping when I had problems. Thank you, Miss Marcia, for helping me when we discovered I had dyslexia and working on it with me. To Brother Danny, thank you for being a great pastor. To the Lotrick family, thank you for always praying for me. I know if I had any problems, I can go to them for prayer. I want to thank Miss Carrie and Brother Nathan for being there for me when life was so difficult to deal with. The last person I want to thank is God himself, giving me friends, family, and for people being there in my life. I want to give the following advice to the underclassmen. Don't give up when you feel like you can't go on anymore. There are many things that happened in my life that made me want to give up and quit. The main thing was dyslexia. Without the people in my life to motivate me, I would not continue my education. I will be continuing my education through Lone Star to get my associates in psychology. I'm striving to become a therapist or a social worker. This will not be without challenge. Princess Beatrice once said, dyslexia is not a pigeonhole that you can't do anything. It's an opportunity and a possibility to learn differently. You have magical brains that just process differently. Don't feel like you should be held back by it. This quote really encouraged me because if a princess can think this way, then so can I. Do your best to achieve your goals in life. Abraham Lincoln once said, adhere to your purpose and you will feel as full as you ever did. On the contrary, if you falter and give up, you will lose the power of keeping any resolution and you will regret it all your life. My final and last advice is to be an example to the younger grades and to help them lead them to greatness. Younger classmen, especially elementary students, will be looking up to you. They might follow into your footsteps. Just show them what they need to do. Thank you for coming to our last step as adolescents and our next step into adulthood. Remember, never give up in tough situations and be the next example for all who come behind you.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. I wanted to share this passage with you to talk about a concept that I believe is an important truth for us to hold on to. Throughout life, I have learned that for everything, there is a time and a season. A time to study for your 8 different exams coming up, and a time to rest. A time to goof off a little and have fun, and then a time to work hard and get those procrastinated assignments done. There's a time to let go of people, make new friends, but also remember to cherish the ones that will never leave your side.
Learning that some people only come into your life for a season can be a hard lesson to adjust to, but it is important to know that God places some people in your life only for a season. There is always a time to sleep, and naps will save your life, but I guess there is also time to get up in the morning and get things done. Finally, there is a time to be happy and a time to be sad. It's normal and okay to get overwhelmed, and at times, life can get exhausting. But don't let the trials of life hold you down for very long. My family has taught me that despite of what life throws at my way, that I have the ability to have a positive attitude, and also that God gives me the ability to turn any situation into something beneficial. Learning this concept has helped me be able to be grateful for each season of my life and take it one step at a time. I want to thank all who put time and effort into making me the person I am today. To be honest, the only goal I had while making this speech was to make my mom cry. Love you, Mom. Mom, thank you for teaching me to always be kind, loving, and no matter what life throws at you, to make the best out of it. You are one of the strongest people I know. You have been through more than even I can understand, but you never let it keep you down. You once told me that God does not want bad things to happen to us, but if we lean on Him, He is always able to turn those trials into something good. You have and continue to sacrifice everything for your family, especially your kids. And doing so taught me determination, kindness, perseverance, and that family always comes first. Thank you to my family who continues to show me endless amounts of love and always being there to protect and put up with me. My family is not any kind of normal, but that's the best part. I'm beyond grateful for the family I've been given. Thank you to my teachers who became friends and mentors to me. I will always look up to you, especially Brother Nathan and Miss Carrie, who I will forever be grateful to for not only pushing me in my education, but also adopting me at times and always being a rock for me. Thank you to Miss Marcia for pushing me to be my best and showing me what I am capable of doing. To all the friends that felt like family, always willing to help me and keeping a smile on my face. Thank you to the classmates who keep me laughing, even if I was laughing at you. I'm grateful for each of you and having the opportunity to get to grow with you and being able to call you my friends. Senior year has been a year of loss and certainly been bittersweet. As much as I've looked forward to this day with great anticipation, it also brings feelings of reminiscence. I've always disliked endings, but endings are inevitable. The leaves will eventually fall, the book must come to a close, the game ends. Today we say our goodbyes. Goodbyes to sleeping through half my classes, crazy mission trips with your best friends where you practically get hit by a van and someone nearly gets arrested. But as Winnie the Pooh once said, how lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Even though today is an ending, it is also a beginning. The beginning of new opportunities and much uncertainty for what the future may hold for us. It is time to put into play the many lessons we have learned over the years as we start the next chapter of our life. I would like to address the underclassmen. The piece of advice I leave you with is this. It's okay to not know what to do with the rest of your life. It is a journey to find your direction and your passions. So do not get too frustrated by the mistakes and setbacks as they happen to us all. Seriously, you're going to make mistakes. Try to use your setbacks as an opportunity to grow. As I mentioned before, there is a time for everything, and now it is time to end this speech. As this season of my life is ending and a new one begins, let's purpose to live in the moment and enjoy every season of life.
Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Throughout the course of my life, I have found this statement to be true. When I grew up in Colorado, my parents taught me how to live as a Christian and how to develop good character. I see now that my father's teachings and lessons tie in Churchill's words. Life is like a maze. It is confusing and you can often succeed or fail or even lose your way. When I moved from Colorado to Houston, I felt I had lost my way. After years of living in Houston, I soon found many friends and loved ones within this church. I remember the time Brother Nathan and Miss Carrie took the high school to New York for a missions trip to the Fond Fair. The first plane we got on was so cramped that my knees were being forced into the seat in front of me. However, once we landed and got on the second plane, the situation had quite changed. I can honestly say that those were the most comfortable seats I had ever sat in. That missions trip was an eye-opener for me because it showed me just how much missions are needed, even if it was just in the United States. I also remember the Promise play the high school went to see in Glenrose. I remember being in a stinky bed for 3 or 4 hours as we traveled. I thought to myself, how could the play be worth this torment? But only after seeing the play did I understand how much God's promises mean. Recently this year, my dad and mom took me, my niece, and my nephew to the Ark Encounter in Kentucky. I can honestly say that road trip was very interesting. It was a 17-hour drive to Kentucky, and my dad stopped at every single Sam's gas station. I wanted to drive, and my dad told me that the brakes were going bad. On the way back, my dad finally let me drive, and as every parent does, they micromanage my driving. As I graduate this year, I would like to thank so many people in my life that have helped me along the way. First and foremost, I would like to thank God. I do not think we as Christians realize how much He watches over us. Earlier this year, one of my truck's head gaskets exploded. It meant that I had to take out the engine. As I was working on the engine, I was undoing one of the bolts that held the engine to the frame. My arm was stuck in between a sharp piece of metal and the sharp edge of the engine. I heard something telling me to get my arm out between that slot. I removed my arm and started undoing the bolt from a different angle. As I got the first bolt out, the second bolt snapped and caused the engine to shift and close gap where my arm was. If I had not listened to God, the engine would have likely pinned me and cut both the arteries and veins in my arm. I would likely not be here today if it was not for God's mercy that day. Since then, I've learned just how important that still small voice can be. To my Father, I thank you for being the most profound influence in my life. Your teachings and life lessons have made me who I am today. I will always admire you, Dad. Thank you. To my mother, I'd like to give thanks because you have been the most wonderful mother a son like me could have. Your kind and loving traits will always be in my heart. Thank you, Mom. Miss Marcia, you're the greatest teacher a dunderhead like me could ever have. Though I've often lost my way in my studies, you'd be right there to put me right on track. Thanks for being the greatest teacher ever, Miss Marcia. As I graduate this year, I would like to offer some advice to my fellow students in school. It says, help me get through the troubles of life. I advise you to never give up on your dreams and ambitions, whatever they may be. In this maze we call life, you may fall, but it isn't fatal. You may succeed, but it isn't permanent. You may stumble and you may fall, but nothing in life is final. It is the courage to continue that will decide your fate in life. Never give up and never give in. Thank you.
La cara de Noé.
Friends, family, and fellow graduates, thank you for coming out here today for a special
Hermano de la
occasion.
maestra de allá de...
I'm honored that all of you took time out of your busy day to come and celebrate the graduating class of 2022. I realize it's a Sunday, and most of you are here because it's church, but I'm still honored you came. I like to begin by saying, life is like a measure of music in a song. Parallel lines that don't touch until a single note changes lines into a song. Every important milestone in our life, the good and the bad, is a note in our measure of life. Important things like people who come into our life, memories, and words of wisdom. But with that being said, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this tremendous milestone in my life. I thank God for some of the human notes He has placed in my life. Dad, you have been nothing short of a loving parent. No matter what, you always have a way to teach me something new. I want to thank you for teaching me to work for everything I want in life and to work hard for it. Mom, you have taught me a lot, both in school and in my walk with the Lord. If I ever have a question at school, you would counter my question with another question and ask me, how would I do it? This annoyed me, but made me do a lot of my own, and I thank you for that.
Both of you started me in school when I was just 4 and made me learn as much as I could over the past 12 years. Thank you, Dad and Mom, for all your love and support. My siblings were the only students in my school, so without further ado, I will go through all the students in my school. Anessa, Brianna, Christian, and Jacob. Anessa, you have really helped me by paving the road for your younger siblings, and by taking me safely to Purgatory and back. And yes, I do mean that crazy hike you took me on called Purgatory Creek. Brianna, we may not see eye to eye because I'm so much taller than you, but I thank God that He put you in my life as my older sister. Christian, I loved it when you would walk to my desk and start telling me about what you learned in history and Bible, even though it took most of my day. Jacob, even though you joke around with me a lot in school, I know you love me. I only have 4 biological siblings, but there are so many other siblings that I have, and I would love to tell you about them. But for time's sake, I will just say thank you. Some of the other notes in my life are words of wisdom and memory. I thank God for all of those. There are so many men and women in my life who have given me words of wisdom that I will cherish forever, and I want to thank all of you. Many memories I share with my friends and family, I will cherish every day of my life. Things like when Justin Jackson came to my house and Anessa made us go on 8-mile runs, or the many times we stayed the nights over at the campgrounds, raking leaves and goofing off. I want to thank everyone for all of those memories, those notes that have been shared between family, friends, and loved ones. These notes alone aren't much, but when put together, the melody of possibilities are endless. Each and every note in my life is important to me, and I love them in a very special way, the good and the bad. I know it is a part of God's plan. I was asked while writing this speech, what is something that I would have told myself 4 years ago? It would be to cherish every note in life, even the difficult ones, because someday it will become a beautiful song once it is all put together. Friends, make your song beautiful because it is for the Lord. I want to thank all of you for coming out and celebrating this next note in my life.
The Bible says in Galatians 6:9, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And today I am here to reap the longest 12 years of my life I probably ever had. I remember when math was my favorite subject in the world, but as time went on, I soon found out math was just mental abuse to humans. School has not been easy for me. Growing up, I did not stay at one school for long. I was moving around almost every year. There was no real example of consistency in my life until we got into church. I remember when my dad told me he started going to church, and it was one of those things where I just had to see it to believe it. After 8 years of seeing it, I want to say thank you, Dad. Thank you for getting me in the church, showing me by example, no matter what I go through, I can always stay consistent in the church. Honestly, I don't think I would be here graduating if it was not for the church. Growing up, I do not have many memories of laughter or happiness, but when I got into church, my life changed forever. You see, the church encouraged me to finish those longest 12 years of my life so that I would be able to stand before you and graduate today. It was through the church I met some of my best friends and made some of the most cherished memories of my life. I sit here and reminisce of the time I had just gotten saved and then spent 5.5 hours in the car with Brother Terrell Jackson. At the time, I did not know anything about him. We were from the opposite sides of the world, it seemed. It was on that trip he shared some words of wisdom with me. Unique wisdom like, if grasshoppers had machine guns, then birds wouldn't mess with them. That trip was just the start of my friendship with Brother Joe Jackson, and today I tell him he's the grandpa I never had. Brother Jack Wood once said there's two things the brethren will never forgive you for: failure and success. In my few years, I have found that there's a difference between the brethren and the church. Looking back in life, the only regret I have is not getting in sooner. But I am thankful for what God has done for me. He has saved me, allowed me to finish my education, and given me many people to help me in my life. As I begin to close, I'd like to thank the church for being a huge impact in my life. Thank you, Pastor, for not only being my pastor, but my friend as well. Believe it or not, but I really enjoyed digging out that stump with you for the Timmies. I like to close with this quote from Edward Hale. I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I shall do. Friends and family gathered here today, let's get the attitude that Edward Hale had. No matter how small, we can all do something. So let's get after it.
Graduation. Surprisingly, is starting much like my first day of school. Terrifying. When I think back to the first time I started school, I think back to kindergarten, when my mom put me into a classroom. When she left, I immediately started crying, kicking at the door, and screaming for her to come back. That's when I knew I would not like school.
Es una
To be
muñequita,
honest, I never thought I'd finish school. I always had this negative mindset where I thought I wasn't good enough or smart enough. I think that's why I acted out so much, and why I would always pretend to be sick or miss the bus, just so I wouldn't have to go. It wasn't until I came to Shady Acres when I was in the 6th grade that my idea of school changed. What am I doing here? I thought. I had just come from a public school that wasn't the best for me, but I didn't realize that at the time. I thought Shady Acres is just like any other school, but I was wrong. This school was different. They took the time and effort to make sure I was passing my classes, and I actually enjoyed learning while doing it. I then realized through Miss Marcia that math was my favorite subject. I loved how it made me think. It was like a puzzle to me. I just had to solve it. One of my favorite sayings from Miss Marcia was, "There is more than one way to skin a cat," meaning there was more than one way to solve a math problem. This was not the only lesson that she taught me in school. She was a teacher who would get straight to the point. She would not sugarcoat your shortcomings, but tell you straight up, "Juliet, you're being lazy and you need to step it up." This really helped me. I knew that she cared enough to really tell me the truth. I'm thankful for her help and for others who have helped me get here today. But first, I would like to thank God and give Him the glory for coming into my parents' lives and saving them, so that I could have a better life. Honestly, I don't know where I'd be without the Lord. To my parents, I say, thank you for letting me have this opportunity in my life.
Mickey Mouse.
I know I'm making you proud by doing something you wish you would have been able to do when you were my age. You have both always encouraged me to do better, to always strive for the good things in life, and to always put God first. I know we butt heads a lot, and there have been some days where I just didn't want to do it anymore, but y'all have kept me on the right path, and I'm so thankful for that in so many ways that I can't express it in words. To my older siblings, I just want to thank you for always having my back, for being the shoulders to cry on when I need you the most, for giving me lectures about staying in school, and to never make the mistakes you all have made. I know it may seem like I'm not listening, but I really was, and I know I'm making you all proud. To my younger siblings, you either kept me sane or insane. You have seen me on my good and bad days, but I'm so thankful to be your big sister, the one you can go to whenever you're in trouble or need help. I just want to be the best role model that you all have in your life, and just know that I will love you no matter what. To my friends and family, thank you for making me smile and laugh, and for always making sure that I keep my head up and never look back to where I came from, but to keep my eyes looking forward. To my teachers and Miss Holloway, thank you for never giving up on me. I know I can be stubborn sometimes. Okay, most of the time. But that's what kept me going, for you to tell me to try it again and again and again until everything was correct. I plan to continue school by going to Lone Star and then transferring to the University of Houston to finish college and get my business degree. Then I want to become an accountant. I know this will take a hard work, but I plan to not quit and to keep working hard to achieve the next dream of my life. To those following behind me in school, I give you this advice. Just keep swimming, because you're about to get into a very big ocean and experience things you have never seen nor done before. You'll probably not know what to do, but don't quit. If you place your trust in God and lean into His understanding and not your own, then you'll find the right path in life. Standing here today on my graduation, I know I don't have to be afraid anymore. I know I have the guidance of teachers, friends, and family that will lead me into the right path.
Graduation is one of the most important moments in a person's life. These past 4 years have been both short and long because of everything we've gone through. Although the homework and early mornings have made the day seem to drag on, and the drama of the high school life on top of that has caused a few headaches, the friendships, memories, and valuable lessons we've learned have made the years seem like they've passed by too fast. As a missionary, born on the mission field, my life has started with ups and downs. First, it came through learning how to serve God alongside my parents in a country that was foreign to me. Then my siblings came along, and as the oldest, I had to be the hand to guide them through the same challenges I faced. That is not always an easy task, but thanks by the grace of God, He has given me the strength needed to help them. I believe that God gives each and every one of us a gift, and my gift is the gift of speaking. Since I was just a little kid in Germany, I've loved to talk. So I'm thankful that on Thursday night at teen camp in 2018, God called me to preach and gave me an opportunity to put my gift of speaking to use in His word. I would love to take this opportunity to mention the people who have helped me make it this far. I would not have made it this far without you. Dad, without you, I have no idea where I would be. You've been my best friend throughout my whole life, and I'm so thankful that you've helped me through the bad times and the good times, like doing donuts in the pastures. Mom, thank you for loving me the way you do, and for the random text messages you would send me throughout the week, all to let me know that you're praying for me. I wholeheartedly know that I would never have made it this far without you. To my siblings, Keena, Jackson, and John, thank you for always being there for me and putting up with me. I love you three. To Hudson Doucette, thank you for being one of my best friends, and I'm excited to see that we're getting to serve the Lord together in this life. To Brother Danny and Miss Marshall, thank you both for always praying for me, even when I was dumber than a box of rocks. Brother Danny, thank you for always telling me what I need to hear and giving me the best advice. I know that I'm not always the easiest person to be around, but you've helped me anyways, and I cannot thank you enough for that. And to the young people, just work your hardest and don't quit, even when you feel like your teachers are against you. Enjoy school and make the best of it, but don't be the class clown because your teachers have enough to deal with. Finally, my fellow graduates, I'm excited to see what the Lord is going to do next in our lives as we continue to walk this journey called life. I wish you all the best, and I thank each and every one of you.
que va a hablar, que sacó el mayor, ¿cómo se llama? Sí, ese. Cinco de aquí ya estaban en non-stop college con otras lanzadas y ya van como por el segundo año, no sé, bien inteligentes. Yo tú no sé, pues yo voy al colegio cristiano, pues no me promovieron para allá, pero si te promueven, te ayudan. Casi, eran como 5 o 7 que estaban ya. Los que te dije yo, no me acuerdo. Eso también va a hablar. No, se les queda pensando.
All right, those last three slides were silent on the speeches because they're going to be live speeches for us. That is Caitlin Atwood, Brianna Jack, and Isaiah Cooper. You three would stand up. These three all graduated with highest honors of summa cum laude. Leah Price, she had magna cum laude. She was covered with honors. And these three battled each other all through high school. Who was going to be the highest GPA? Who was going to end up with the best grades? And up until about a couple of days ago, we didn't know who it was going to be. And we found out. Isaiah was ahead, and Isaiah had a tough semester. One tough semester. And with this competition, one tough semester is all it takes to fall down just a bit. But this young man, one of the brightest minds I've seen, to be perfectly honest, even with that bad semester, still graduated with highest honors. I've never seen anyone do that. So we're very proud of Isaiah.
Amen.
He graduated with 40 college hours under his belt. And then Miss Brianna Jack, who came out from nowhere, zoomed up through her hard work, never giving up. She is our salutatorian. Isaiah's GPA ended up being with a 4.14. When I was in high school, the highest you could get is 4.0. These people are blowing that away with all their college credits and so forth. Very impressive. Brianna had a 4.16, so her and Isaiah were very close with 32 college hours under her belt. And then Miss Caitlin Atwood, our valedictorian, with 29 college hours, had a 4.38 GPA. So we are very proud of them tonight. And ladies, you can be seated. Isaiah, you can come up.
Welcome, friends, family, and visitors to the graduation of 2022. Nito Klubin, an American businessman and motivational speaker, said, "Bad circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start." In life, the most successful people have come from backgrounds that were not even decent, to say the least. Ben Carson, Steve Jobs, and Robert Kiyosaki are a few examples. What drove these people to be successful? What caused them to rise above their environment and do better? It can be reduced to three factors. The main two are how they responded to their environment and the determination to achieve their goals. The Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal. It referred to the idea that everyone has an equal chance in both succeeding and failing, not in this. The Declaration states that all men are created equal. It refers to the idea that everyone has an equal chance of both succeeding and failing, not in the fact that we have all come from an equally outstanding background. In the unforgiving world we live in, none of us are alike in regards to what our life was like growing up. For some, the world has favored them because of their or their parents' wealth, while others remain poor and dealt with the consequences of what a poor financial situation brings. My family, including me, has had to deal with the financial situation of instability and inconsistency. This may have been the origin of my story, but it did not and still does not define my success. Our limitations reside not in the fact that we believe success is sometimes not possible, but in our inability to accept the fact that failure is inevitable. You are going to fail. This is a part of succeeding that we must realize. Ella Fitzgerald stated, "It's not where you came from, it's where you're going to." And I believe that that very statement rings true in all our lives. It coincides with the idea that your success is not limited by where you came from, contrary to what people lead themselves to believe. Let your origin story be a fuel that points you to where you want to go. Let me give you a personal example. Going to college, my environment shifted, but my goals remain the same. Instead of using my background as a crutch to get favor of the teachers and other students, I used it to drive my ambitions and distance myself from the others who put forth mediocre grades. I will be going back to college in the fall to finish my associates, but there are other areas of life that I would like to explore that do not require a degree. No matter what field of study or career I get into, I will never forget where I came from and where I am going. Recognition is very important to me, and I would like to take this time to recognize a few people that have had an important part to play in my success. To Brother Nathan, thank you for teaching me how to handle a situation with a sharp mind and very immovable determination. Of all the things that I have learned from you, that was the most important. Miss Marcia, no amount of thankfulness can begin to explain how important of a part you've played in my success. Were it not for you, I never would have had the opportunity to achieve my goals. To my mom, you've shown me what it means to work, even when no one else is watching. I cannot begin to explain how good of a life I have because of you. Thank you for helping me realize where my determination and drive comes from. Thank you, Caitlin, Brianna, Mercy, Jasmine, Joel, and Leah, for yelling at me when I deserved it, challenging me, and putting up with me. I learned a lot from all of you. To all the college teachers and students who sharpened my skills as a student and as a person of education, thank you. There are some who are not here tonight that has given me a sense of guidance and direction. They know who they are. Thank you. To the underclassmen, I have a few words. Never back down, especially from your dreams. If you back down once, you will do it again. If you are tired, then rest, but do not quit. There is a difference, and knowing this difference will set you apart from the majority. For most people, the intense struggle is a part of life. It is a part of what helped us to learn. Most of us have already done so to reach where we are now. Potential is defined and refined in our willingness to struggle to achieve that success that was worth undertaking. That is the third factor that these hyper-successful people have in common. An anonymous writer said, "Find strength through every struggle, because the things you have been through have made you the person you are today." Do not look at struggle as a limitation, but as a process, and the end result, success. If you remember nothing else tonight, remember this. Success is not given. It is earned. Earned by those who are willing to combat whatever life throws their way. We all could argue that we have a reason to quit, throw in the towel and point fingers at everyone except for ourselves. Giving yourself a reason why you should quit is quitting already, and success is not for you. My parting message to you tonight is for you to understand that you are not limited because you struggle, but struggle because you believe that you are limited. I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors, and may you all find success in your life as I have. Thank you.
Ms. Brianna Jack.
As the salutatorian of the class of 2022, I would like to thank family, friends, and teachers for joining us and sharing this time with us. An anonymous runner once wrote, "At mile 20, I wished I was dead. At mile 22, I thought I was dead. At mile 24, I knew I was dead. At mile 26.2, I realized I'd become too tough to kill." High school is a race, or more like the training grounds, for the marathon of life we are running. During this race, I got my first job, cashed my first paycheck, said goodbye to competitive volleyball for good, and officially completed my last year of high school. Saying goodbye to school is a big step in life. Graduating is one race, run and won. A chapter finished in a book called life. I am very thankful to have people rooting for us in the crowd as we run this race. I would like to thank a few people who have stood by me and cheered me on. First, I want to thank Ms. Marcia and Renegade. Thank you, Ms. Marcia, for pushing me towards some real important goals in my life. But we all knew that if we were to try our hardest in school, she would take us behind the building, beat us, and tell God we died of natural causes. Thank you, Renegade, for always having a message for me and preaching exactly what I needed to hear. I really appreciate you guys. I'd also like to thank Ms. Carrie and Brother Nathan for the supportive role that they have played in both my educational and personal life. You guys have really been there when I really needed you. Thank you, Ms. Carrie, for always being a shoulder to cry or offering when I could be very stubborn. Para señora Gaby, estamos bendecidos por haber tenido a la maestra más divertida de español. Pasamos muchos momentos en la clase riéndonos juntas. I would also like to thank Ms. Barbara for being a second mom to me and just having my back whenever I needed you. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for shaping me into the young adult I'm becoming. I know you guys will always be there when I need you, or sometimes when I feel like you don't, you guys will be there anyways. I cannot forget my partners in crime, my sisters, Ashley and Jasmine. We have made so many memories together, and I hope to create some more as I head into this new chapter of life. Because face it, we all know I'm not going anywhere. I will always be here for you. Lastly, I would like to thank the one who has guided me to where I am in this race, the Lord. I know He will lead me in whatever path He sees fit for me to go. To my fellow classmates, I have enjoyed this final year with you guys and will always remember the fun times that we've had, the memories we have made, the mission trips we have taken together, and the countless days we have spent in the classroom bored out of our minds, having nothing to do, or pretending to at least, experiencing what Brother Nathan would call senioritis. As for my future, I am interested in going into the field of nursing. I'm aware that this particular field will take more than just some time, and I'm aware of the hard work that gets put into it. But I will strive and achieve yet another goal in life. I'm beginning a new race, and I intend to cross the finish line. To the class of 2022, I hope you are all able to finish your races and have this place to connect us and bring us together. We are going to have some overwhelming days ahead of us, but we can always rely on the people here who have pushed us to strive for success. As we finish this race, a new race begins now. I leave this message for everyone here. We are all running towards the finish line. If we start to look at the people doubting us in the crowd, we will get off track. We have to keep looking forward to the achievements in front of us to reach our goal. Philippians 3:13-14 says, "This one thing I do, forgetting the things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." Classmates, let's press toward the mark as we begin our marathon of 5. Thank you.
Esa es su sobrina. Ay, que se salga para afuera. Un ratito.
Good evening to the attendees of the 2022 graduation ceremony. As I stand here tonight, I feel I am in no better position than now to trade my definition of success. Winston Churchill once stated, "Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm." According to Churchill, success is more than a stopping point from which you strive to reach, but rather an idea to implement into your everyday life. As the valedictorian of the class of 2022, I want to challenge your perspective and allow you to derive from this speech your personal definition of success. Recently, I was invited to hear Dr. Ben Carson speak at Houston Baptist University. Ben Carson is, by all means, a successful man, but what defines him as so? Throughout his speech, he touched on multiple issues in his life and how he overcame them through trial and error. Though Dr. Carson has received many honors and recognition, I believe that his true successes came long before. He claims God and his mother as his earliest foundations. I would argue that success is not